I know you're here because you're going through something that feels impossible to explain to anyone who hasn't experienced it. You met someone who turned your entire world upside down. The connection was instant, powerful, and unlike anything you'd ever felt before. But then they ran. They pulled away, rejected the connection, maybe even rejected you. And now you're sitting here wondering if they'll ever come back, if what you felt was real, or if you've just been fooling yourself this whole time. Before we get into why runners come back, let me explain what's actually happening in a twin flame dynamic. Twin flames aren't just soulmates or regular romantic connections. They're mirrors. When you meet your twin flame, you're essentially meeting someone who reflects back everything you are, both the beautiful parts and the parts you've been trying to hide from yourself. It's like looking into the most honest mirror you've ever encountered, and that level of truth can be terrifying. In every twin flame connection, there's typically what we call a runner and a chaser. The runner is the person who gets scared and pulls away from the intensity of the connection. The chaser is the one who tries to hold on, who sees the potential of what this connection could be and wants to fight for it. Now here's the thing. These roles aren't set in stone. Sometimes they switch. But understanding these dynamics helps you make sense of what feels like complete chaos. When a runner rejects the connection or rejects you, it's not really about you at all. I know that's hard to hear when you're in pain, but stay with me. The rejection is about their own internal stuff, their own fears, their own unhealed wounds that this connection is bringing to the surface. And this is exactly why they always come back. Let's break down the real reasons this happens. The connection never actually goes away. Here's something that might bring you some comfort. That connection you feel, it doesn't disappear just because someone decides to run from it. Twin flame connections exist on an energetic level that goes beyond physical presence or even communication. Your runner can block your number, move to another city, start a new relationship, and do everything possible to forget about you. But that energetic cord between you two remains intact. Think of it like being connected by an invisible thread. No matter how far your runner goes, they can still feel you. They might wake up thinking about you. They might feel your emotions when you're having a particularly hard day. They might dream about you or get sudden urges to reach out. This isn't about being psychic or magical. It's about the genuine energetic bond that forms between twin flames. What happens over time is that the runner realizes they can't actually escape this connection. They try to fill the void with other relationships, with work, with distractions, but nothing quite measures up. Other connections feel flat in comparison. It's like trying to be satisfied with black and white television after you've experienced full color. Eventually, this realization pulls them back because they understand that this connection isn't something they can simply walk away from and forget. The runner returns because the absence of the connection becomes more painful than facing it. When they first ran, their fear was bigger than their desire for the connection. But as time passes and they feel that constant pull, that constant reminder of what you shared, the equation flips. The longing becomes stronger than the fear. And that's when they start moving back toward you. Their own growth demands it. Something really interesting happens when a runner tries to avoid their twin flame. Life doesn't let them off the hook. Instead, life starts pushing them toward the exact growth and healing that the twin flame connection was trying to trigger in the first place. It's like the universe has a curriculum designed specifically for them, and meeting you was just the beginning of that lesson plan. Your runner will start encountering situations that force them to look at their patterns. Maybe they'll keep attracting the same relationship problems. Maybe they'll hit rock bottom in some area of their life. Maybe they'll just feel increasingly empty and disconnected from themselves. All of these experiences are pushing them toward the same self-awareness and healing that your connection was trying to spark. At some point, they start doing the inner work. They might go to therapy. They might have a spiritual awakening. They might just spend time alone figuring out why they keep sabotaging good things in their life. And as they grow and evolve, they start to understand what they ran from. They begin to see that the intensity they felt with you wasn't something to fear, but something that was trying to help them become whole. This growth process naturally leads them back to you, because you were the catalyst for it all. As they heal their wounds and become more self-aware, they gain the capacity to handle the connection. They develop the emotional maturity they were lacking before. And with that maturity comes the recognition that what you offered was real and valuable. They come back not as the same person who ran, but as someone who's ready to meet the connection with more awareness and less fear. The lessons can't be learned elsewhere. Your twin flame connection carries specific lessons that both of you need to learn. And here's the challenging part. These lessons can only be fully learned through this connection. Your runner can date 100 people, have a dozen relationships, and try everything possible to move on, but they won't find the same growth opportunities anywhere else. Each twin flame pairing has its own unique purpose and set of lessons. Maybe you're both learning about unconditional love. Maybe you're learning about self-worth. Maybe you're learning how to be vulnerable or how to maintain your identity in a close relationship. Whatever your specific lessons are, they're built into the fabric of your connection. When runners try to learn these lessons elsewhere, they hit a wall. They might have pleasant relationships, but something feels incomplete. They might achieve things in their career or personal life, but still feel unfulfilled. That's because the universe has assigned certain growth experiences specifically to your connection, and until those lessons are engaged with, there's always going to be a sense of something missing. Eventually, the runner recognizes this. They realize that the growth they're being called toward is directly connected to you and the relationship you could have together. This realization brings them back because they understand that avoiding you means avoiding their own evolution. And at a soul level, we all want to grow and become our best selves, even when our egos are scared of what that requires. The physical separation becomes unbearable. There's a physical component to twin flame connections that people don't talk about enough. When you're in the presence of your twin flame, there's a sense of coming home in your body. It's not just emotional or mental. It's a physical recognition that happens on a cellular level. Your nervous system relaxes. You feel more alive. There's an actual physiological response to being near this person. When runners separate themselves from this, they're not just dealing with emotional longing, they're dealing with a physical sense of being incomplete. It's like their body is constantly aware that something essential is missing. They might experience restlessness, insomnia, or a general sense of physical discomfort that they can't quite explain. Over time, this physical discomfort grows. The runner's body literally craves reunion. They might not even understand what they're feeling or why they can't settle into their life without you. But that physical pull becomes impossible to ignore. It's not about desire in a superficial sense. It's about their entire being recognizing that separation from you is unnatural for them. This is one of the most powerful forces that brings runners back. When your body is telling you something that persistently, you eventually have to listen. The runner returns because staying away starts to feel like holding their breath underwater. They need to come up for air, and you are that air. They see you've moved forward. Here's something that might surprise you. When you stop chasing and start focusing on your own life, your own growth, and your own happiness, something shifts in the dynamic. Your runner, who's been energetically connected to you this whole time, feels this shift. They sense that you're no longer waiting around, that you're building a life that fulfills you with or without them. This changes everything for a runner. When they felt you chasing, they felt safe to run because they knew you'd be there when they figured things out. But when you step into your own power and start moving forward, they panic. They realize they might actually lose you. Not just physically, but they might lose the opportunity to ever experience this connection fully. Seeing you thrive without them triggers something deep. It challenges their narrative that maybe the connection wasn't that important or that you'd always be available. It forces them to confront what they're actually giving up by staying away. And often, this is the wake-up call that finally breaks through their fear. Your growth also shows them that the connection isn't about neediness or dependency. It shows them that you're whole on your own, and that makes the idea of coming together less scary. They're not coming back to save you or to complete you. They're coming back because they see someone who's complete already, and they want to share their life with that person. Past life contracts and soul agreements. I know this might sound out there to some of you, but bear with me. Many spiritual traditions believe that twin flames have agreements that go beyond this lifetime. Before you were born, on a soul level, you and your twin flame agreed to meet in this life. You agreed to trigger each other's growth, to help each other evolve, and to potentially come together in union if you both do the necessary work. These soul agreements aren't something your runner can just opt out of. Even if they don't consciously believe in past lives or soul contracts, there's something operating beneath their conscious awareness that keeps pulling them back to you. It's like they made a promise before they were born, and their soul remembers that promise even when their human self is scared. This is why the connection feels fated or destined. It's why no matter how much logic your runner applies to staying away, they can't seem to make it stick. There's a deeper current running underneath all their fears and resistance, and that current is always flowing back toward you. The runner returns because at a soul level, they know they're meant to. They might fight it, delay it, or try to pretend it's not real, but eventually, the soul's agenda wins out. The pull of the agreement you made together becomes too strong to resist, and they find themselves back in your orbit, often without fully understanding why. Love ultimately wins. At the end of the day, here's the simplest truth. Your runner comes back because what you share is love in its most pure and powerful form. Not the easy, comfortable love that feels safe and predictable. The transformative kind of love that changes you at your core. And that kind of love doesn't die just because someone gets scared. Your runner might convince themselves they don't love you. They might even believe it for a while. But that love is still there, buried underneath their fear and resistance. It's working on them, softening them, and gradually breaking down the walls they've built. Love is patient, it waits, it persists, and eventually it breaks through. When runners come back, it's because they've finally allowed themselves to acknowledge what was always true. They love you in a way that transcends their understanding. They've tried to run from it, deny it, and replace it, but nothing worked. The love remained, constant and undeniable. So if you're in that painful waiting period right now, wondering if your runner will ever come back, I want you to hold on to this truth. The connection you felt was real. The love is real. And real love, especially twin flame love, has a way of bringing people back together when the time is right. Your job isn't to chase or convince. Your job is to focus on your own growth, trust the process, and know that what's meant for you will find its way back.